Javier Espinosa, CEO and founder of Dynameat. Welcome on board. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm
Good afternoon.
great to be here. It's a pleasure.
So we have been watching a lot of PI and RMS for rooms, accommodations. Now we need to understand more how to optimize revenue for restaurants, and this is going to be really interesting. This is going to be actually also the last pitch. I leave the word to you. You can share the screen and get your pitch up.
Okay, thank you so much. And so, okay.
So let's get ready so we can do also up to 3 questions at the end of this speech because it's the last. Okay, Christine? Here we are. So you have to get the PowerPoint up. Yes, you can start, man.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. All right. So first, let's look at the reality. And the reality is that today, total revenue management is like sex when you are a teenager. Everyone talks about it. Nobody really knows how to do it. But everyone thinks everybody else is doing it because we have been talking about total revenue management for many, many years. But today, the reality is that 70% of total revenue management by a hotel is coming from rooms. And there are many, many platforms and a lot of technologies and vendors that actually utilize their technology and their algorithms in the best way in order to optimize this room revenue space, such as some examples are, of course, Duero, Beyond Price, Ideas, Atomize. Some of them, we have been listening to them during this afternoon session, and they are using cutting-edge technology that basically has no competition. But the remaining 30% of revenue that is called, or that we like to call as other revenue, because it's everything that has nothing to do with rooms, in the hotel industry has no or poor technology to support a proper optimization and has not have it, in the last years, even though we have been talking about total revenue management. So what we do in Dynameat is we optimize other revenue to apply a total revenue management strategy for hotels, starting with F&B, so starting with the restaurant space. Applying in particular two levers. One, dynamic pricing, and second, smart menus. Dynamic pricing is basically about adapting the price of every dish depending on the demand level in order to improve profitability and product mix. And smart menus is all about adapting your digital menu at the restaurant, personalizing and making it dependent also on the demand level and on the type of customer that you have in your restaurant or in your F&B outlet, again, in order for customers to purchase what is most important for the restaurant to be sold. Now, we have a clear product roadmap where we want to include in our platform breakfast optimization, optimizing pricing for breakfast and dynamizing pricing for breakfast is crucial for hotels. The same for room service, where it comes as well to personalizing the offer that we have in every room, depending on the customer and depending on the demand level. And then also for restaurants, we want to work on the delivery platforms. We want to optimize the delivery channel, focusing on restaurants. But really, what we are doing today, what we offer to those restaurants and hotels that are using our platforms, we offer an increase of 10 to 15% in profitability using our platform. And this has been tested, and it's what we are getting in the customers that have been using our platforms in the past approximately year and a half. This is an example from one premium outlet located in the city center of Madrid. After just 9 months using Dynameat, they went from a contribution margin per customer of 11.7 euros up to a contribution margin per customer of 18 euros, of course, without impacting the demand at all of the restaurant. So this is pure benefit and pure contribution margin going straight to the bottom line. That's 44K just thanks to the implementation of Dynameat in just 9 months, which is, of course, huge. Who is working with us today? Who are our customers? We are proud to say that in the hotel space, we are working with Radisson Hotels, we are working with Palladium, we are working with Smart Rental, a group with over 10 properties. Then on the restaurant space, We are working with La Rumba Group, with Grupo La La La. They are both based in Spain, big restaurant groups. And then with Grupo Arzabal, which was our first customer back in 2020. But these are just some examples. And the best ones that can talk about what Dynameat is and what it can bring to them is basically our customers and industry leaders. Gianni Di Fede, Senior Vice President of Revenue Management, BI and Distribution for Radisson, says being able to control and centralize our F&B pricing thanks to a platform like Dynameat is a very important leap for us. Fernando Vives, Chief Commercial Officer of NH Hotel Group, the customer is ready. We need to counterfight inflation and incremental cost. Dynamic pricing is the smartest solution. And then, of course, we couldn't avoid, including some testimonials from what was our first customer and the first believer on dynamic pricing for F&B outlets for us, which is Nacho Adorna, the CEO of Grupo Arzabal, which mentioned that their profitability had grown by 30% thanks to the implementation of our platform. And the best news is you can try it for free. Our platform is available for a free pilot, but only for the doers. If you want to try our platform for free during the first month, you have to confirm your interest before the 15th of December. Thank you so much for your time and for the invite, of course.
So we can try it for free also the food, Javier?
I wish.
Just make sure we are on track. All right.
Cool. Excellent presentation, Javier. And I think it was all sitting, I think it was always wishful thinking, a lot of the things that you said there for quite a few of us. And I'm sure a few very interesting questions will come out of this session. So shall we start with Per? Do you have a question?
I think the
yes,
the first one. Yeah.
For sure. Hi, Javier. Thank you for a good presentation. I have one question. I have actually two profit managers working for me, only with F&B at the moment. And the same road as we all did with the room revenue for, maybe 15, 20 years ago, we start getting older, is that it's a lot of bad data. When we get to these big machines of hotels that we have, when we should start working with F&B revenue and do like menu engineering, things like that, we can see like a famous beer mark could be in the system in 25 different ways. You could spell it with 2L and 1L and up and down. What's your point on that one? Because I think what we could do with your system and things like that in our 225 hotel is amazing, but our data is so pure in many ways. How did you sort it out with other companies? And is it a long way to start using the system because you need to do a lot of work on the back office?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Parth. Thank you for the question, and that's a great point. Now, the reality is that the lack of consistency on how you input the data, which happens to basically everyone, I would say, it's an issue when you want to consolidate the data, right? When you want to look at reporting, for example, on an aggregated level, and you want to look at how many Cokes you sold at the global scale, right? For example,
you have Coke with a K and a C, and every different way. Yeah, true.
Exactly. Now, if you are working at the hotel level or at an outlet level, usually, unless it's very messy, but usually there is only one product for every item, right? And this is how our algorithm works. Basically, we work everything at an outlet level, and at an outlet level, it should be right.
Yeah. Perfect, but thank you. I think I'm gonna have somebody calling you in some days.
That's great.
That's what we like to hear. Shumi.
Sorry, let me clarify. Give me just 1 second. Also, Parth, regarding your question, we have a partnership. In case you are interested on, the consolidated thing, we have a partnership with an artificial intelligence and reporting platform that will as well provide that service of consolidating the information. Just in case you are interested, we get nothing out of it. It's just a partnership that we can help you out with.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. I'm interested in the analytics behind the dynamic pricing. So what are the variables that drive the pricing? For example, is it inventory? Is it time of day, seasonality? Do you measure some kind of elasticity of demand? And if so, what's the time period of data that you take in order to, drive a robust price decision upload?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Sumi, for your question. So, to be honest, the different variables that are impacting pricing and how we should measure them and take them into account, it was a learning process for us because we were coming from the hotel industry, right? At the beginning, we knew nothing about restaurants. And the first thing that we learned was that the name of the game is entirely different. When you talk about pricing for hotels, we are always talking about revenue management. It has not been until recently that we have started talking about net revenue management and profit. But when it comes to restaurants, there is a huge element that you can impact when playing with the menu and when optimizing product mix, right? So therefore, the name of the game is completely different and you need to look for profitability. How do you look for profitability? Well, there are many variables, right? The first one you need to take into account is, of course, price elasticity, the popularity of every dish, how they react to price changes. Then you need to take into account the contribution margin for every item, the stock in case you have it, because the reality is that many restaurants do not keep track of it. And then an element that is crucial for us and is the preparation speed. Because, for example, if your restaurant is full of people or you are expecting to have the restaurant full of people, it would be very interesting to have your menu only showing dishes that are fast to be cooked,
Makes
right?
sense.
Or at least to provide them better visibility, right? So that customers are more willing to purchase those items to improve table rotation and to improve the efficiency of the kitchen, right? So all those elements are taken into account into our algorithms, but we always say that we do it in a holistic approach. So, for example, at a certain stage, our algorithms may recommend that you increase the price of the hamburger, maybe not to get more money out of the hamburger, but maybe because the customers that are buying the hamburger are not purchasing the steak, and maybe the steak has a better profitability than the hamburger, right? So sometimes, our algorithms take into account the cannibalization between different items, and they are going to suggest price changes and menu changes that take that into account in order to optimize the profitability of the entire menu.
Okay. Especially if you have the steak rare, so it doesn't take long to cook.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's very insightful.
Thank you.
Brilliant question, Shumi. Roxanne, how about our second lady in the show today?
Yes, so now I'm imagining all of these price changes for menus that are coming up, and a lot of restaurants still have printed menus. This obviously stops you from being able to change those prices as regularly or as you would say, for instance, your hotel rooms. How are you doing that? Sort of how are you getting these prices in front of the guests?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically, we have our main way of showing
Can you hear
me? Yeah. Can you hear me? Roxanne, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you fine, Javier.
Okay. Maybe, yeah, okay. So, the main way to show our menu, it's via QR code, right? For customers
Yes, I
to
can.
see it.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So the way to show the menu, the main way is to show it with a QR code, right? With the digital menu being shown on the cell phone from the customer, right? But then we have two, let's say, backup plans in case a customer doesn't feel comfortable with that. On one hand, many restaurants that we are working with, they have tablets as a backup plan, again, in case a customer doesn't feel comfortable with the digital menu, right, on their cell phone, or in case they don't have Wi-Fi or internet connection or whatever, they can always use this device. And then we have a second backup plan, which is that restaurants have the ability from our platform to print straight away the current menu, right? So if any customer do not want the digital menu neither in their cell phone, neither in tablet, the restaurant owner can go, click a button in our platform and print a copy of the current menu with the prices that are available at that moment.
Fantastic. I have another question. It's just a curiosity. It could be comparable, the lineup of your menu dishes to the room type, right? That's the concept, Javier. I mean,
So
if I'm
what you-
having oysters, is the suite, for example, or if I'm getting the hamburger, is the executive kind of room type.
um, could be in a way, because in the end you have the customer sitting there and you can influence on what they are purchasing, right? The same way you can influence on customer purchasing a suite, or you can influence on a customer purchasing a standard. Yeah, it could be sort of comparable in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the way you can translate this RMS traditional from the room point of view to the tables and dishes and so on. Anyway, I was able to have a proper demo of your platform from one of your team member, Alessio, and really impressed me. The tool was really interesting. So if anyone interested in restaurant revenue maximization, I strongly suggest guys to get in touch with Javier and request a demo, and then find out if the free trial is also available for the food cost, right? Okay, thank you, Javier. Really glad to have you here today, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye.